Hello, I'm very pleased that my PhD thesis has been finalised and is available to read and download on the Leeds Beckett repository. For those of you that might not have time to read 400 pages of research, here's a quick video summarising the really important stuff. So my PhD was about the QUB method of measuring the HTC or heat transfer coefficient of buildings. The HTC is a number that describes the amount of heat needed to maintain a temperature difference between the inside and outside of a building. And this is a really important number because we can also glean lots of interesting stuff about the building, like how much energy is it going to use all year round to keep the occupants of that building comfortable, its carbon emissions, and we can also make assessments about how well that building's been built, and if we make a change to that building, like add insulation to the walls, does it really improve the energy performance? There are standardised ways of measuring the HTC, but these can take 2 weeks to complete and require the building to be unoccupied, so they're not very well suited to mass adoption. What differentiates the QUB method is that it has a relatively shorter duration of a single night, so it's perhaps more easily applied in those mainstream applications. The aim of my PhD was to investigate the accuracy and precision of the QUB method. So when we do QUB measurements, how close are they to the true value of the HTC of a building? And how far dispersed are repeated measurements of the same building? I was also interested in how this varies between different buildings and with test conditions. So to investigate this, I completed 92 QUB tests in 9 different homes, and I used standardised steady-state measurements to determine the accuracy of the QUB measurements. In my results, I identified multiple instances of changing test conditions linked to the dispersion of results and ultimately lowering the levels of accuracy and precision seen. Examples of these include variations in external temperature, changes in the relative temperature of unheated spaces like floor voids and conservatories, and also the amount of solar radiation that was incident on the property during the day before the QUB test was completed. So all of these examples can be linked to a specific building characteristic, and this means that we can sort of identify the ideal building where QUB tests are most accurate and most precise. And this is a building with a relatively simple boundary, so about these sort of unheated buffer spaces between the inside and outside, like conservatories. This is a building that is insulated, and this is also a building that isn't constructed of heavy materials like stone. Also in my PhD, I developed a novel way of accounting for indirect heat loss in a building using additional temperature measurements and heat flux density data. And this improved the accuracy and precision of the QUB measurements. However, it does result in a slightly different iteration of the HTC, so it might not be applicable to all use cases. So in my PhD, I evaluated the accuracy and precision of the QUB method in a discrete number of case studies, each with their own limitations and each with their own test conditions that were observed. Because of this, it makes generalising the results across the whole building stock quite challenging, and because of this, there's further research going on right now to build on my PhD. This is considering a much larger sample size of buildings where we have QUB results, and also testing campaigns spanning multiple seasons, so we really get an idea of the variation in QUBs over hundreds of tests. I'd like to thank the co-funders of this research, so that's Leeds Beckett University and Saint-Gobain. Saint-Gobain are also the creators of the QUB method. So thank you very much for watching. Please get in touch if you are interested in this research, or if you have any questions. I will happily talk about it all day long. And yeah, I'll put the link to my thesis in this post or in the description. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.